Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller & Son Furniture. My name is Drew Larison. This is MTM. Mr. Mayor, how are you?
Great. Little tender. I was out Saturday. Saturday, most of the afternoon. Baseball, garden, community garden dedication, some yard work and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And did not plan appropriately. And so not only is the forehead and cheeks a little tender, but my locator.
Yeah.
Definitely on top.
I tell you, it is that season. Wear your sunscreen, folks. That's something I'm trying to be more and more conscious of. Do you know a lot of women these days, they wear like some sort of sunscreen. It's like built into
built
makeup.
Into their mascara, yeah.
No, not one.
Or their foundation.
Foundation, yeah. Yeah, they're wearing like SPF every day.
Yeah.
Whether they're going to be outside a bunch or not, like they're wearing some sort of like sunscreen every single day.
Yep.
It's wild.
It's cool.
Us men, we don't have that.
No. We can. I suppose we could wear some foundation every day.
I guess you're right. I mean, I don't know. It just
that
blew my mind when my wife told me that.
Yeah.
Like not too long ago that
So they work it in.
She wears SPF in it every day. All right. Well, you had a busy weekend then, it sounds like.
Yes. A little bit of things to hit here and there, but definitely some outside honey-do list items. And
nice.
So going to finish that up tonight before the rain comes later this week.
Love that. Well, I don't actually. I hate rain. Before we get into the show anymore, let's give a shout out to our partners at Robert Miller & Son Furniture. Unlock incredible savings this tax season at Robert Miller & Son. This April, enjoy, which only a few more days of this, folks.
Right.
This is the last time you'll hear this ad read. This April, enjoy a 30% off discount on all furniture, plus with 0% interest financing for up to 60 months on eligible purchases. You can easily furnish your home with top-rated bestsellers like Lazy Boy recliners, Smith Brothers living room sets, and premium mattresses, all while staying within your budget. Visit Robert Miller & Son today. Yeah, because you got literally just a few more days to visit them.
Right.
So awesome. Thanks for Robert Miller for being the partner for this show. What's going on at City Hall this week?
Obviously the weather's nice. Kokomo bike share is now up and open for everybody. I think it's just weekends now until school starts to let out, so we can get the staff there. Getting things touched up and tuned up out at the pool, get in anticipation of Kokomo Beach opening up by the end of the month.
Love that.
Again, do that later towards the Memorial Day weekend, because that's when a lot of the high school lifeguards and blue shirts are available. So tidying up on that. Finally got the milling machine out, so starting to do some patchwork and paving in areas. So please be safe and cautious around those when you see our crews in the white trucks and yellow reflective vests and shirts on. I know they appreciate it. Unfortunately, it's probably a month or so ago now, we did have one of our patch buggy crews that are out filling potholes get clipped by somebody. So folks really ask that you slow down and give the guys and gals a little bit of attention. And be cautious as you're passing around them. And today is a good day to bring awareness to that. It is National Workers Memorial Day. So April 28th, back in 1971, is when the first act was passed, and was eventually, because it was on April 8th, 1971, a few years later, it was designated nationally. April 28th every year is National Workers Memorial Day. So there was an event, very nice event at Rogers Pavilion at Highland Park at noon today. We also acknowledged it after my monthly labor breakfast over at the UAW 685 Hall. So our thoughts and prayers go to the families of those that have lost their lives or have been seriously injured while on the job, and we ask folks to do the same.
Love that. Very nice. Yeah. Anything else going on at City Hall?
Just gearing up for the summer.
Yeah. About that time,
Getting the work done that we can. Still kind of navigating on what things are going to look like financially, and prioritizing paving and additional projects. I know the We met this morning on the tennis and pickleball courts and miniature golf all being constructed at Cutler Park. That got pushed back a little bit because they're still doing some additional testing of the ground there and finding out what we need to do and where we're getting the dirt for the different elevations within the miniature golf course. And so the construction of both of those got pushed back a little bit, but still on track there and just moving ahead.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we have some questions.
Awesome.
Pre-show questions. If you have any questions for the mayor, for the Ask the Mayor segment, we're going to start here in a second. Just leave them in the chat below. I see Bree is in the chat dropping some links, some Kokomo Post articles for the Kokomo
Thanks,
free
Bree.
bike share, as well as, what's the second one? First creature feature of the year happening this Saturday.
Thank you. Yeah, Crocodile Nature Center. Yeah, so
they have
the folks come
alligators.
They have brought an alligator out before.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
in Kokomo,
lots of stuff.
Interesting. Oh, so thanks for dropping those links,
Thanks, Bree.
Yeah, but if you have any questions for the mayor and you want to hear them get answered live on the live stream right now, that'd be great. I see some people watching. If you don't mind, just drop some sort of comment or click that like button. Let's try to get the algorithms on our side here on Facebook to get as many people watching as possible. But for the people that are watching live, if you do have any questions, just leave them in the chat below. That is why I have my laptop out to pull over any questions that are happening live and put them in my notes so you can get the mayor answered as quickly as possible. So yeah, leave a comment or just say hi in the chat. Facebook likes engagement like that, or just click like and maybe even share it if you want to. You have any friends that you think would be liking this live stream, you can share that with them too. So all right, so let's get into the questions that we have today.
Or do you want to share your weekend events with us?
I had a very boring weekend.
Okay.
I had an event last week, the end of last week in Nashville, and I was kind of like driving by myself. I guess I can throw this question out there because we were talking about this before we started recording. I found a new hack for like road trips.
I like it.
Because I was in a car by myself for like 12 hours, so that's dangerous material for me. But I love like documentaries.
Yeah.
And even like podcasts, kind of like what we're doing right now. But I learned I can just listen, because I also think Netflix does a lot of things well. Like obviously they have like redefined what online streaming and like the things they've done for technology and entertainment and the internet are wild. But I think what they are best at, they have like perfected the art and science of documentaries. They just do it so well. And then they have like docu-series where it's episodes of a documentary and like there's always a cliffhanger. Oh, another one I watched was the Jean-Benet Ramsey documentary that they put out. But here's my hack. If you're on a road trip, just listen to Netflix documentaries as you're driving. Fascinating. Really good. Makes the time
Tip
fly
of the day,
by.
folks.
But I listened to like the Waco one about Waco, Texas, and what happened down there. Unabomber, the Oklahoma City bombing, and then the Jean-Benet Ramsey docuseries on Netflix right now is also so good.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's my hack.
Great suggestion.
Leave a comment below. What documentaries do you like to watch on Netflix? Are you a documentary follower or
That's
listener?
what brought it up. I mean, I asked, hey, what's some series that you guys have been binging lately, whatever, and so because wife likes to cash out a little sooner than I like to, and if I got an hour or so to kill,
I'm telling you, I just love a good documentary, especially when I'm traveling. It's just it helps pass. I watch a lot of documentaries on planes if I'm flying somewhere. Makes the time fly by really quick. So anyway, be curious what you guys think.
I like how you did that.
I wish that was intended. It wasn't. All right, let's get into the questions today. The first one is from Howard Tipton. Once again, I think an infamous, famous, fake Facebook account that runs around town. All Howard says is, I think you need to be careful about all this spending. So
absolutely. Although with all the spending, yet what we're wanting to do is cost money. And I know they're saying, hey, government needs to, tighten up and watch what they do. Oh, by the way, fix this street or pick up those limbs or, throw this amenity in. I mean, so it's a delicate balance, but you're right. We do need to watch what we spend, how we spend, and find the best efficiencies in what we're doing, either service-wise or project-wise. Great advice.
Gotcha. Next question is from Operation Blue Horizon. They had some questions last week as well, so thanks for tuning in again. Many people in Kokomo and across Indiana are feeling increasingly anxious about the recent decisions made by the Indiana General Assembly in the 2025 session, especially the cuts to education, healthcare, and other essential services. These decisions are likely to have real personal impacts on our community. What steps is local leadership taking to support Kokomo residents during this time? How can we do a better job of advocating for their needs at the state level in the future? Operation Blue Horizon.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going backwards through that. I mean, the best way to help advocate and do is what a lot of folks like myself did. I mean, I know there were teachers down there. There were elected officials and stuff that we spent time in the halls of the State House, grabbing our legislators between sessions or between meetings and such, just getting as much information to them as possible, because what we found out, and I say we, meaning, elected officials, the mayors that were focusing on Senate Bill 1, these legislators have hundreds of bills that they're considering, and in both houses, whether it's the House or Senate. And so just if there's something in particular that is of interest or concern, the best way is just to spend the time down and communicating respectfully and professionally with the legislators. I know they appreciate that, as opposed to getting hammered or criticized or felt attacked and such. So what the property tax relief efforts that kind of came out of this most recent legislature, we're still trying to wrap our heads around and arms around the total impact of it, because a lot of it is items that are being phased in over a number of years, whether it's increasing the de minimis level for business personal property tax, which is what we're primarily focused on. But yeah, I mean, the reduction in the amount that is received through property tax increase over the next handful of years, is concerning as it is for municipalities, is even more so for schools and nonprofits and such. We had our Food Alliance meeting this morning, and it just a simple one. There's Food Finders. I mean, with what their potential funding. I mean, so it's conversations like that Food Alliance meeting that we had this morning. It's conversations that we have with other constituents and special interest groups or nonprofits, just to find out how we can all collectively navigate through with the limited amount of resources that we currently have, and working within those means and as efficiently as we can, but then being open to any suggestions that they may have to, again, support each other with the limited revenues and such that will be coming here the next, not just this coming year, but the next 2 to 3 years in the near future.
Gotcha.
So, communications, just let us know.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is from Gary on Facebook. The city of Kokomo officials are so transparent, they were not visibly able to be seen at the meeting IDEM set up at Ivy Tech for questions about J1, the toxic waste recycling facility, receiving permission to expand their facility for the ability to process, evaporate toxic waste from the manufacturers outside our area. 2 additional slurry toxic train rails are being approved for the processing of hazardous waste from the other locations, as well as the battery plant. I'm concerned we are just an experiment for the state of Indiana. I'm not confident they sufficiently monitor the plants for safety and environmental issues. At the meeting, IDEM seemed to be overly confident on their air monitors located throughout the state. When asked how many monitors they had in the state, they did not know. The response to me after the meeting, they can move the air monitors around and place them where needed, and the monitors evaluate the particles in the drifted air. Gary Sandy on Facebook. So someone obviously...
J1 had applied for an additional permit for their expansion and such, and in response to some of the concerns that local citizens had and voiced to IDEM, or the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, the officials at IDEM chose to go ahead and have a public hearing or a town hall meeting in order to address citizens' questions or concerns. So it was a meeting set up by IDEM for that state agency, that state environmental agency, to answer questions and to, I guess, provide explanations and reasons for what they were allowing or permitting or monitoring at those facilities. So, I mean, I guess I don't know why he's saying that the local officials are not as transparent, because we didn't attend the meeting. It wasn't a meeting that we called. It wasn't a meeting that, of a panel of local officials. I mean, yes, we've got our local fire inspectors that are in these facilities almost daily, but and wastewater treatment plant that's monitoring the discharge that works out there, but primarily IDEM and the Environmental Protection Agency, their EPA. Both of those agencies has, as they mentioned, have monitors, have restrictions, have certain guidelines that these companies are required to follow. And so we follow those guidelines, and jointly, I mean, with those agencies as well as local, continue to monitor and check those facilities. So I don't know. I think we're not being transparent if it wasn't a meeting that we called or that we were necessarily invited. It was to answer questions for the citizens as to why IDEM was going to grant the permits that they were requesting. So,
what does IDEM stand for?
The Indiana Department of Environmental Management.
And that's a state program?
State, yes.
Okay.
State agency.
Mm-hmm. So then the city in general, when it comes to J1 decisions, what power does the city have over things like that? Or is it a state thing?
Yeah, no, it's both. It's collective. I mean, the state has certain guidelines. The federal government has restrictions on that. That's why EPA is checking them. That's why IDEM's checking them. Here locally, again, like I mentioned,
EPA is federal, IDEM is state level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then again, our wastewater treatment plant, if there's any discharge, because I know J1 receives, the waste or the discharge, from the production process, recycles that and sends the, water back into the manufacturing process. And so, our wastewater treatment plant is monitoring that. As I mentioned, our fire inspectors, we've got 2 fire inspectors that at least one is in there. It seemed like almost every other day. I mean, checking the working conditions and such, that we can in order to ensure the safety of the workers inside there. And a few of the suppliers, I mean, have even locally, I mean, we've put cease and desist orders on them for certain days as they've addressed an issue that was discovered. And so I think that locally we're doing what we need to in conjunction with what IDEM and the EPA are imposing upon them as well.
Okay, gotcha. So, next question is from Marcy on Facebook.
Hey.
How do you have enough staff? And there's some confusion here. Okay. How do you have enough staff in the prosecutor's office to prosecute endless petty marijuana charges every week, but no time to prosecute a murderer? Is it because the city doesn't stand up to gain any revenue from a murder conviction, unlike the thousands that the city takes in for every marijuana charge? So there's a news story behind this, right? And she's referencing, I believe, there was a old cold-ish case, correct? Where the county building, not the city, would be where that case would be taken, right?
The county courthouse.
Yeah. So that's important to know. So you don't run the county courthouse.
City government has no authority over or has any influence on outside of advocating for things that need to be done. But we have no authority over the county courts, the prosecutor's office, the public defender's office, and such. The only revenue we would receive, through the police department would be tickets or money from violations, tickets that are issued for violations, any property that's seized, or funds that are paid to the courts stay with the courts or with the prosecutor's office for them to use and such. So whether or not, even if that case would have been heard, the city of Kokomo doesn't receive any money from the outcome of that case. And so, I mean, to assume that, the city of Kokomo didn't support or didn't want anything to do that because we weren't going to make money on it is
Sure.
just a misunderstanding and, incorrect information. Yes, the courts are in the city of Kokomo, but it's in Howard County, and the Howard County government has the authority over and works with the courts and prosecutor's office. So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, they're not wrong. That is a weird thing that's going on where we have a shortage in staff to take cases and things like that, but that is not really the city's, not really,
Right.
not really. It's not at all.
Yeah, I
the
mean,
city's
we joined
responsibility in the
with other elected officials to express our concern that whatever is happening in there, that they didn't have the staff to adequately prosecute that particular case. I mean, the courts are all busy and still doing what is asked of them, but why this particular case? If that was the only one, if there were a number of them, and this just happened to be the most heightened or one that garnered the most attention, I don't know.
Yeah. And I will say Brandon Pennington also on Facebook had a similar question.
Okay.
But once again, Brandon, that is the county courthouse, not the city hall police department. So that would be like a sheriff's county issue, the prosecutors are for the county.
Yeah, even sheriff's department.
Yeah.
I mean, it's once the Kokomo police or the Howard County sheriff do their due diligence and gather the information and complete the investigation and turn it over to the prosecutor's office, then it's
out of their hands.
Out of their hands, both. So,
yeah. Now, if we had a show with county commissioners, that would be a great question for them, and maybe they supply an answer from there too. Next question is from Eric DeWeese on Facebook. What is the status on Dutch Bros coffee? Also, anything happening at the old rally spot by Cracker Barrel? Thanks.
Haven't heard any updates on Dutch Brothers. I mean, I would assume that similar to the current status of Chick-fil-A, both are working through final arrangements or agreements in the Maple Crest Plaza. There where Kroger, where the new Wendy's is moving, so Washington and Lincoln.
That parking lot's getting full.
Yeah.
What part of that parking lot is that going?
I believe it's.
So you got Wingspot, Smoothie King, Wendy's.
South. The
Kroger gas station's in the middle of that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
interesting.
So it's closer to Harbor Freight, I think.
Gotcha.
So I haven't seen or heard anything through that. I mean, obviously they went through the processes that they need through the Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals, and so their status. But as for the rallies down south, nothing there either. The owner of that particular property, I don't know if they still have I doubt that they have a lease with Rallies. Rallies is probably pulled out, but the owner of that property hasn't been able to secure or done anything with that particular facility, and apparently doesn't want to pay to have it taken down. So that's one thing that I can definitely have code enforcement look into to see where they may be and what we can kind of encourage them to do with the property.
Gotcha. Okay. And I am getting some notes from Bree on that, so I'll check into those in a second.
Cool.
Next question is from Lori on Facebook.
Hey.
Okay, my question is, since we have so many empty baseball diamonds, how about putting a petting zoo like Gas City has, or the one in Lafayette, Indiana called Columbia Zoo? That would be so good because kids love animals.
We could potentially look into that. I mean, there's certain liabilities. I know that I think Frankfurt had an aviary. So I don't know if it was the entire zoo or if it was just the aviary, but unfortunately they had to shut that down. But like other things, it's availability of resources for the animals themselves, the staffing, the construction of the facility and such, if we would find something. But I guess looking at the available parks, UCT is one of the last few that we have, but being kind of a bowl, it gets soggy a lot. But I don't know. I know there's a small organization that has a petting zoo that goes to either various events or there for a while was partnering with the Kokomo Raceway fun park down south and doing Saturday events there and such. So I know there's a small privately owned petting zoo group that goes place to place, but looking at one of any substantial size. It's something that we'd have to look at as we kind of monitor the parks and see. I don't believe we just completed our 5-year parks master plan and we sent out surveys and such. There was more emphasis on pickleball courts and amenities, like that. I don't believe there was any thoughts or suggestions for a petting zoo. Never say never, but right now not on the radar, just again because of the resources needed for pets and maintenance and staff and a facility. So
yeah, it's
good
not
thoughts,
easy to run a zoo.
Good thoughts.
Next question is from Aaron on Facebook.
Okay.
When are they scheduled to start filling potholes, and what does that consist of? And so far, what streets are affected?
They've
filling potholes for a while.
been filling potholes since January or February. They were still filling some today, and so I don't think that any street necessarily is exempt from receiving some attention. There are some that still need. We only have 3 patch buggies that get out and about, but if anyone has a particular need or particular area that needs addressed, they can either contact the street department, call the pothole hotline, or simply send me an email at mayor@cityofkokomo.org and give us a location, and I can forward that to the street department. But yeah, we're got folks out probably as we speak, unless they're in for the day. So we're filling them now.
Gotcha. Next question is from Sue on Facebook. Could you post an online schedule of the road repairs with dates for Kokomo this year? It's an interesting thought.
That is an interesting thought. We hesitate doing scheduling road repair because a lot of it's dependent on the weather. Also, if emergencies come up, if there's a line break, if there's a sinkhole that evolves. So putting out a definite schedule. I know we've done that a time or two before, saying we were going to be in these areas. Just like when we pick up limbs and leaves, we tried to give folks a heads up as to where we were going to be. And something would come up, and then there's the anticipation and such. So I know that online now on our Facebook page, we try to get give a week or so advance if we know we're going to be somewhere or something. The city's Facebook page has that information daily, what sections are going to be closed, where we're going to be, and what we're going to be doing. Sometimes if there's multiple lanes, we may not necessarily put something right away because there's ways to navigate around it. But no, I think our street department does a great job contacting our development department to make sure that those notices and posts go out on Facebook enough days in advance to give folks enough warning. And sometimes they don't, but we try.
Okay. And I will say, we just did find something. Bree sent it my way. She said she saw somebody share this a while back. Oh, wait a minute, Bree. Well, I don't know. This is not confirmed. There is a place called Brandon's Burgers LLC, and they are originally out of like Frankfurt area.
Okay.
They posted back in April that they signed a lease, the 401 Kentucky Drive, which would be that Rally's building.
Very cool.
Here's the thing, Bree, and I think you're still watching this. They shared that on April 1st. I don't trust anything shared on April 1st. So maybe we could dig into that more and see the validity of it. Yeah. Because that possibly could be an April 1st, April Fool's post, which is a shame because it actually like kind of blew up. People were very excited about that. I've never heard of Brandon's Burgers.
I hadn't, so okay. Very good.
Next question is from Christiana on Facebook. When is the North Side going to get a quality grocery store and not just more Dollar Generals? You'll put a battery plant up here and annex the area for the property taxes, but we've yet to see the investments in infrastructure and or commerce investments. There's more to this town than the lower 931 Avenue corridor.
Totally agree. And I know we've talked about this before. It's been an ongoing discussion. Even before my administration, the city development department has reached out to major grocers in the past, and it just at the time doesn't fit into their marketing plans. I mean, we're still reaching out. I mean, obviously, that she mentioned with the battery plant and the increase that we anticipate with population and development on the north side. I know there's interest in developing, moving north. There's an area just south of the battery plant and suppliers area between that and Ivy Tech, where there's some multifamily housing and potential retail going into that area, creating the hub, as they called it. 931 is getting some looks, but like anything else, we can go to, these restaurants, we can go to the grocery stores and such and encourage them to come to Kokomo. But if they're not in a position to do it or feel that it's not marketable for them or profitable for them, they're not going to. And to kind of reduce the amount of small box discount stores that have been coming. We did pass an ordinance a little over a year ago, placing restrictions so that we weren't getting saturated with that, because that was part of it too. I mean, part of the impetus of the grocers, like, it doesn't seem like that you've got food deserts, or you've got lack of available food or food options because you've got small box discount stores, scattered around. And so that was part of the reason why they didn't want to come, but addressed that and continue almost every week to try and encourage and get a larger grocer to come to this area, preferably looking to the north end. But as she mentioned, because of all the excitement and interest and traffic and everything from Markland, or even if you go as even North Street, but closer to Markland and south, that's where things are and where things need to be. So it doesn't mean we're not trying, just can't talk anybody into actually doing it.
Gotcha. So. Yep. That's been a common topic for years now. Next question is from AJ Henderson on Facebook. How about a decent indoor roller coaster amusement park all year round? Just restore the Delco water lines. Bring in local county revenue and outsider revenue, all while starting a small community food businesses inside. And then after they have money saved to start a restaurant, bring them in more community to share their foods and things they sell as a side income. Wealth growth would be crazy. Crazy, he says. Crazy. Of course, they have to pass food inspection. Make multiple entrances with security, and you won't have to invest near as much in parking lots.
Yeah.
What an entrepreneur, this guy.
If somebody wants to bring that type of facility here, the city would be more than happy to try to find a way to partner with them and make that happen.
What does he mean, restore the Delco water lines?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe
AJ, we need you here.
Delco or even the GM facility on the east side of 931. Maybe he thinks because there's not activity in there that they've closed everything off. But yeah, there's certain restrictions, and obviously GM is still very much the owner and has authority over that facility and such. But yeah, if there's a private entrepreneur that has the vision for that and can find a spot or be able to do something, we'd be more than happy to. I mean, we hesitate doing that as a city or even as a county or jointly, again, because of the funds needed for that type of startup, for ongoing maintenance, for liability, for equipment and everything. So there's a lot more to it. But yeah, if somebody wants to bring something like that, tell them to look at the ground out by Championship Park, because that would be, if he mentions the amount of crazy wealth that would come from it. I mean, if you had something out near Championship Park to catch some of the weekend baseball activity between games, I mean, that'd be huge. So
huge.
It's crazy.
Huge. Next question is from Rosemary on Facebook. I heard there's going to be a $3 tax on cigarettes.
I heard that as well. Or the tax that's on cigarettes got increased by $3.
It's not a percentage?
I forget. I mean, I'm sure it's a percentage, but I think with the percentage it equaled, $3. This is what I heard over the weekend as well. Something that was signed and passed at the end of last week at the tail end of the legislative session. And so, yeah, it was my understanding that the state imposed an additional $3 per pack on cigarettes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
next question is from Mitchell on Instagram. Will the city of Kokomo be hurt by the new Subaru news?
I guess I hadn't heard what the new Subaru news was.
From what I understand, I actually read some of this over the weekend. Subaru has decided to move some of its manufacturing and automotive, what is it called? Like assembly, to Japan because with the new tariffs, it's easier to import from Japan to Canada than it is from the U.S. to Canada.
Oh,
because of just the new tariffs. So,
yeah, I mean, it could have an impact on Kokomo. I'm sure I'm not sure, but I know there are a handful of folks that live in Kokomo or Howard County that
work in
Lafayette at the Subaru plants. I mean, so it could affect those individuals and their families, whether they have other opportunities to do or if they're able to move, to another Subaru facility. But yeah, that could be concerning for those Kokomo and Howard County residents that currently work at Subaru if they continue with it.
Gotcha. Next question is from Michael on live chat.
Hey.
When will the new Sensory Park be set up?
Just looking into the possibility, and I don't know I'm trying to remember if he was the one that sent the kind of image from other parks, whatever. But I know we're looking at what could be done. Thought is we're going to be tearing down or tearing up, if you will, the old skate park down at Jackson Morrow Park right across Webster, and I might be looking at a sensory type of nature park there. So that could be a good side of it. Otherwise, I think one of the sensory boards or that a certain individual shared with me, and maybe it was Michael, we're looking at the possibilities and the costs associated with those. So.
Okay, gotcha. Next question is from Tony on live chat. Hey. Can you make this available on KGov2 and YouTube? So I don't have control over KGov2, but this does get posted on our YouTube after it's filmed. I do not think we have the ability, Brady, correct me on this, to live stream on YouTube. I don't know if we have that ability. I don't know if we do. Some platforms are different. I know Facebook is easy to do a live stream, but I do know the recording of this gets posted to YouTube. Thoughts on how this could be on KGov2?
Yeah, I mean, we could work something out to see what the city could do to get copies of the recordings and such to post from time to time.
Okay, gotcha.
Sure. Yeah.
Next up is Jacob on live chat. What is happening at the baseball diamond this summer? I'm guessing he's talking about Kokomo Municipal Stadium.
Municipal Stadium baseball. That's what's happening this summer. I know people are like, oh, it's terrible. It's going to sit dormant. Nobody's going to be anything. What a waste of money and such. No, IUK Cougars, it's their home field, and so there's college baseball happening, right now with the IUK Cougars and in their home season. The Kokomo Wildcats use it as their home field as well. So there's high school ball there. I don't know if they've announced the sites of sectionals, regionals, and semi-states, but I know from time to time we've gotten or been able to play host to one of those, so there could be that. We've got a collegiate conference that has their tournament or conference finals coming up, I believe, in the end of May or in June. So there'll be collegiate style baseball there. All our local leagues, the Cubs, the Kokomo United Baseball and Softball League, because Bullpen Sports is managing the stadium for us this summer, and because they also manage Championship Park, they're going to work in some games either with our local leagues, but then also some additional travel ball. So there will most likely be some level of baseball of some sort, baseball or softball, at the stadium almost every night with some other events, woven in. I know a few nonprofits have use of it as well. So there will be activity at the stadium this summer. RFPs for the new potential team owner went out last week. And those aren't due back until May 21st, at which time we'll can review and vet and hopefully go ahead and land a new team owner to then start recruiting and set up for Kokomo baseball in summer of 26.
Gotcha. Okay. Next question on Michelle on Facebook. Okay. I want to know when South 100 West is going to get fixed. It's completely awful, and not fixed where in a month it's back to beep.
Okay.
It was a curse word if you couldn't tell.
100 West.
South 100 West?
South 100 West. So 100 West, I think, is Park Road. And I'm assuming that she probably means between Boulevard and Lincoln. That's probably one of the roughest, under the canopy of the trees coming off of the country club. I know kind of wreaks havoc down through there as well. I think that stretches on one of our lists. I don't know if it's this year or next, but I get that the patchwork is simply Band-Aids that eventually get worn off. But I'm assuming that's the stretch she means, as opposed to any further south of Lincoln. But it's on our radar.
Gotcha. Okay. Next question is from Corey on live chat. Any talks about bringing a multi-court basketball facility to Kokomo, like PAC in Westfield, PAC, I don't know if it's PAC or PAC, in Westfield, or the new field house in Lebanon? Corey on live chat.
Not at this time. I know that many folks have talked about an indoor sports facility. It's something that we would have to partner with. It'd probably be a public-private partnership. We would need investors to bring that type of facility, because there's really isn't anything that the city could acquire here and make available for an investor. So it'd probably be a ground up, which, again, out near the Championship Park area would be great, just as a sports hub out there. So I know we've had a few developers kind of toss around the idea and reach out to the development department about the possibility. There was even a time 5 years ago that one of our local nonprofits was looking at the same type of facility somewhere. But they are costly and would need staffed and such. I mean, so again, similar to the indoor roller coaster, go-kart, arcade, food facility, amusement park thing. I mean, we'd be happy to, if a private investor wants to bring that type of investment to Kokomo, we'd be happy to find a way to partner with them and help them close gaps to make it happen.
Crazy wealth.
Crazy wealth.
Crazy wealth. Next question is from Jordan on live chat. In preparation for your upcoming stand-up comedy debut, are you planning on making an appearance at any of the local comedy open mics? Kokomo Press Comedy would love to see you on a Thursday evening at Outhouse Records, working your set out. Jordan on live chat.
Well, that would be...
You're doing stand-up comedy?
I am doing stand-up comedy this Friday.
Oh my God!
So Hope Behavioral Services on South Dixon Road, their foundation, the Hope Foundation, that provides opportunities to fund equipment and things that they need, have sweet talked, I guess you could say, me into. I mean, originally there were four of us. Comedians and an MC, and the MC has respectfully declined and backed out. So they've asked me to MC the event, but work in whatever I was going to do comedy bit-wise in between Sherry Rail, Chad McCarter, and Randy Maurer. So it's at Ryan Hall this Friday. Doors open at 6:30. I think show starts at 7.
Do you have your set written?
Interesting. I don't have things written out. I've been just going through things in my mind.
Who's your favorite comedian of all time? Do you have one? Like a favorite stand-up that you like? Comedy in general it's kind of having its moment right now. I think podcasts have played a role in it, but like comedy's having its moment.
Yeah, the dry ones, that are just like Stephen Wright. I don't know. You remember?
Yeah.
So as a kid, I loved him just because he was dry and it was just one or two liners, whatever, just crazy things. One lately that I really got into, and I'm going to butcher his last name, Nate
Bargatze?
Bargatze, if that's how you say it.
He's a big fan of
but
Nate
he's
Bargatze.
kind of the straight affect, and not a whole lot of expression stuff, and he's outstanding. So
love that.
So I don't know if I'll.
I'm surprised you're not a Shane Gillis guy. Big Notre Dame fan.
That's true. Yeah, he is. He's pretty good too. There are a lot of good ones.
I also
right now.
Shane Gillis came out of the middle of nowhere, the best Trump impression.
Oh my gosh!
I think I've seen anywhere on the internet, and like I don't even think he was an impression guy. And all of a sudden, like, boom, he has the best Trump impression I've ever seen, if I can do the hands. But yeah, comedy's having its moment.
So yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I know this Thursday would be the last open mic before my attempt at it Friday.
It is. It's from what I've heard. It's a muscle. It's a muscle. Like, you just gotta like practice a lot and just being comfortable on stage. I did a stand-up comedy, like a fundraising event years ago, and it was terrifying. Yeah, it was terrifying. I like made the big mistake. I like had my script on my phone and I like read it word for word too much. Yeah. It was scary. I think I made people laugh, but I don't know how much money I raised, but I made people laugh. So
there you go. Fun. That's all important.
Yeah. Next question, which as of right now is our last one. Okay. So last call on questions. If you have any more, leave them in the chat. Charles, our buddy Charles Peterson, the third, he wants to know, why don't we use the Jackrabbit Stadium for concerts?
It's a good question. We just might. I know that we were leaning or working our way toward that, had thought about it up until this season. The Jackrabbits organization was managing the field and scheduling and such. So I don't know if there were attempts to do that in the past. A lot of it is working around the baseball schedule. If there's a weekend where there's something available and you've got an act there. I know that we've do the concerts down in Foster Park at the Pavilion, and those are free to folks. And wanting a larger name venue, we'd probably sell tickets to it for a concert in the stadium, and so that's definitely something that we're trying to work in, that we've worked into this RFP that we've sent out, wanting this new organization to work in more community events like that, like concerts and such, and provide that. So we are working toward that. We've had family movie nights a few times, but no concerts. I know there have been a couple nonprofits that have had events there and brought bands in down to the field. So it can be done. We're working towards it, and hopefully, if we don't get one maybe scheduled this summer, hopefully this new team owner will work with us to try and bring one or two next year.
Gotcha.
Going forward.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I have a question.
Okay.
Because so we did put out as a city like the RFP for a new team. Have we had anybody submit anything, or are there some people any teams yet?
Nothing yet. I mean, we've heard talk of individuals talking to other team owners or to members of the various leagues and such, that have called up and said, hey, they talked to Tori Rose, the park superintendent, just asking questions, about the facility, or, maybe contact folks. So, there's definitely interest. We're excited about that. I mean, there was interest before we even released the RFP. But nothing received definite yet.
Got it. Okay. Keep us in the loop with that.
You bet.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Is there like a timeline on that where we would have to have like an agreement signed for like next season? Because I know you have to do it pretty far in advance.
Right. And I know we were shooting for the end of June. So sometime in July, because at that point, the summer seasons are starting to wind down, and as college players are starting to make arrangements to get back to school and such. And so that's about the time when, teams, start lining up their rosters for the following season in July and August to do their recruitment, to then have something in place the following season. And so, we wanted to shoot to have a decision made by July, so that new team owner could then work their way, here to look at the stadium and the facility and start making plans for the following year, but then also, again, like I said, to start recruiting as they go into the collegiate fall season, which a lot of them have.
Gotcha. Okay. Sweet. Yep. Well, those are the questions we had today for the Ask the Mayor segment. Cool. Thank you for those, folks. Thanks for all the live chat. We had a good amount of people watching live today again, so I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for engaging. If you have any questions for next week's show, make sure that you can still leave a comment on this video. I'll go back before we film next week and make sure I don't miss anything, as well as the clips that get posted from this show throughout the week, as well as we also put out a big call for questions on Monday morning, every Monday as well. So plenty of opportunities to send in your questions. If you have any questions in your email email person, you can email Aaron, ERIN, at thekokomopost.com, and those will get pushed to me, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching this episode. Mr. Mayor, do you have a dad joke for us?
Sure. Yeah. So a few months back, we got a new dryer. Our dryer went out, and so got a new one. And I started to get concerned that it was shrinking my clothes. Like for months now, it just seemed like it was
dryers do that sometimes, you know.
But come to find out, it was the refrigerator.
You were putting your clothes in the refrigerator?
No, I go to the refrigerator to eat. Putting on weight, and the clothes weren't shrinking.
Maybe don't do that one on Friday, you know, for your stand-up.
I was getting large.
What if your whole set is just dad joke after dad joke? Like just like joke after joke after joke.
I could maybe do that.
5 minutes straight of dad jokes.
No, what's probably going to happen, and she hasn't decided yet because we got a big weekend. We've got my daughter and son-in-law graduating on Saturday. We got the daughter's baby shower on Sunday and stuff. So she's got a lot going on. So she kind of tossed around the idea of not going to the show that night. And I said, okay, good. Because
you can open up a whole category of jokes if she's not there.
I know. And I might anyhow, but
that's some Nate Bargatze stuff right there. He likes to talk about his wife.
I know. All the good comedians do. That's what I told her. And I said, hey, just full disclosure, man.
If you don't show,
some of the funniest ones, use their spouses and kids as material. So I'm probably going to go there.
I love that. That sounds like fun. Thanks for watching this episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partner with Robert Miller and Son Furniture. Like I said, if you have any questions for next week, leave them in the chat below. We'll make sure we go back and get those, and we do our best to not miss any questions that get submitted. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, Kokomo.
See you, Kokomo.